Act 3, Scene 1, London, Queen Catherine's apartments. Enter the Queen and her women.
Take thy lute, wench, my soul grows sad with troubles. Sing and disperse 'em if thou canst. Leave working.
Orpheus with his lute made trees, and the mountain tops that freeze, bow themselves when he did sing. To his music, plants and flowers, ever sprung as sun and showers, well had made a lasting spring. Everything that heard him play in the billows of the sea hung their heads and then lay by. In sweet music he sought out, healing care and grief of heart. All was sleep, all hearing down.
How now?
And please your grace, the two great cardinals wait in the presence.
Would they speak with me?
They willed me say so, madam.
Pray their graces to come near. Oh, what can be their business with me, a poor, weak woman fallen from favor? I do not like their coming on, now I think on it. They should be good men, their affairs as righteous, but all hoods make not monks.
Peace to your highness.
Your graces find me here, part of a housewife. I would be all against the worst may happen. What are your pleasures with me, reverend lords?
May it please you, noble madam, to withdraw into your private chamber. We shall give you the full cause of our coming.
Speak it here. There's nothing I have done yet. Oh, my conscience deserves a corner. Would all other women could speak this with as free a soul as I do. My lords, I care not so much. I am happy above a number if my actions were tried by every tongue, every eye saw 'em. Envy and base opinion set against 'em. I know my life so even. If your business, seek me out, and that way I am wife in. Out with it boldly. Truth loves open dealing.
Tanta est erga timentis integritas, Regina Serenissima.
Oh, good, my lord. No Latin. I am not such a truant since my coming as not to know the language I have lived in. A strange tongue makes my cause more strange, suspicious. Pray speak in English. Here are some will thank you, if you speak truth for their poor mistress' sake. Believe me, she has had much wrong, Lord Cardinal. The willingest sin I ever committed may be absolved in English.
Noble lady, I am sorry my integrity should breed and service to his majesty and you so deep suspicion, where all faith was meant. We come not by the way of accusation, to taint that honor every good tongue blesses, nor to betray you any way to sorrow. You have too much, good lady, but to know how you stand minded in the weighty difference between the king and you, and to deliver, like free and honest men, our just opinions and comforts to your cause.
Most honored madam, my lord of York, out of his noble nature, zeal, and obedience, he still bore your grace, forgetting like a good man your late censure, both of his truth and him, which was too far, offers as I do, in a sign of peace, his service and his counsel.
To betray me. My lords, I thank you both for your good wills. You speak like honest men. Pray God you prove so. But how to make you suddenly an answer in such a point of weight, so near mine honor, more near my life, I fear, with my weak wit, and to such men of gravity and learning, in truth I know not. I was set at work among my maids, full little, God knows, looking either for such men or such business. For her sake that I have been, for I feel the last fit of my greatness, good your graces, let me have time and counsel for my cause. Alas, I am a woman friendless, hopeless.
Madam, you wrong the king's love with these fears. Your hopes and friends are infinite.
In England, but little for my profit. Can you think, lords, that any Englishman dare give me counsel or be a known friend against his highness' pleasure, though he be grown so desperate to be honest and live a subject, nay, forsooth, my friends, they that must weigh out my afflictions, they that my trust must grow to, live not here. They are, as all my other comforts, far hence in mine own country, lords.
I would your grace would leave your griefs and take my counsel.
How, sir?
Put your main cause into the king's protection. He's loving and most gracious. 'Twill be much both for your honor better and your cause. For if the trial of the law o'ertake you, you'll part away disgraced.
He tells you rightly.
You tell me what you wish for both, my ruin. Is this your Christian counsel out upon you? Heaven is above all, yet there sits a judge that no king can corrupt.
Your rage mistakes us.
The more shame for you, holy men. I thought you, upon my soul, to reverend cardinal virtues, but cardinal sins and hollow hearts I fear you. Mend 'em for shame, my lords. Is this your comfort? The cordial that you bring a wretched lady, a woman lost among you, laughed at, scorned. I will not wish you half my miseries. I have more charity. But say I warned you. Take heed, for heaven's sake, take heed, lest at once the burden of my sorrows fall upon you.
Madam, this is a mere distraction. You turn the good we offer into envy.
You turn me into nothing. Woe upon you! And all such false professors, would you have me? If you have any justice, any pity, if you be anything but churchman's habits, put my sick cause into his hands that hates me. Alas, has banished me his bed already, his love too long ago. I am old, my lords, and all the fellowship I hold now with him is only my obedience. What can happen to me above this wretchedness? All your studies make me a curse like this.
Your fears are worse.
Have I lived thus long? Let me speak myself, that since virtue finds no friends, a wife, a true one, a woman, I dare say, without vainglory, never yet branded with suspicion, have I, with all my full affections, still met the king, loved him, next heaven obeyed him, been out of fondness, superstitious to him, almost forgot my prayers to content him, and am I thus rewarded? 'Tis not well, lords. Bring me a constant woman to her husband, one that ne'er dreamed a joy beyond his pleasure, and to that woman, when she has done most, yet will I add an honor, a great patience.
Madam, you wander from the good we aim at.
My lord, I dare not make myself so guilty to give up willingly that noble title your master wed me to. Nothing but death shall e'er divorce my dignities.
Pray hear me.
Would I had never trod this English earth, or felt the flatteries that grow upon it. You have angels' faces, but heaven knows your hearts. What will become of me now, wretched lady? I am the most unhappy woman living. Alas, poor wenches, where are your fortunes? Shipwrecked upon a kingdom where no pity, no friends, no hope, no kindred weep for me. Almost no grave allowed me, like the lily that once was mistress of the field and flourished. I'll hang my head and perish.
If your grace could be but brought to know our ends are honest, you'd feel more comfort. Why should we, great lady, upon what cause wrong you? Alas, our places, the way of our profession is against it. We are to cure such sorrows, not to sow 'em. For goodness' sake, consider what you do, how you may hurt yourself, aye, utterly grow from the king's acquaintance by this carriage. The hearts of princes kiss obedience, so much they love it. But to stubborn spirits they swell and grow as terrible as storms. I know you have a gentle, noble temper, a soul as even as a calm. Pray think us those we profess, peacemakers, friends, and servants.
Madam, you'll find it so. You wrong your virtues with these weak women's fears. A noble spirit, as yours was put into you, ever cast such doubts as false coin from it. The king loves you. Beware you lose it not. For us, if you please to trust us in your business, we are ready to use our utmost studies in your service.
Do what you will, my lords, and pray forgive me if I have used myself unmannerly. You know I am a woman lacking wit to make a seemly answer to such persons. Pray do my service to his majesty. He has my heart yet, and shall have my prayers while I shall have my life. Come, reverend fathers, bestow your counsels on me. She now begs that little thought when she set footing here she should have bought her dignities so dear.
Act 3, Scene 2. An antechamber to the king's apartments. Enter the Duke of Norfolk, Duke of Suffolk, Lord Surrey, and Lord Chamberlain.
If you will now unite in your complaints and force them with a constancy, the cardinal cannot stand under them. If you admit the offer of this time, I cannot promise, but that you shall sustain more new disgraces with all these you bear already.
I am joyful to meet the least occasion that I may give remembrance of my father-in-law, the Duke, to be revenged on him.
Which of the peers have uncontemned gone by him, or at least strangely neglected? When did he regard the stamp of nobleness in any person out of himself?
My lords, you speak your pleasures. What he deserves of you and me, I know. What we can do to him, though now the time gives way to us, I much fear. If you cannot bar his access to the king, never attempt anything on him, for he hath a witchcraft over the king in's tongue.
Oh, fear him not. His spell in that is out. The king hath found matter against him that fate forever mars the honey of his language. No, he's settled not to come off in his displeasure.
Sir, I should be glad to hear such news as this once every hour.
Believe it, this is true. In the divorce, his contrary proceedings are all unfolded, wherein he appears as I would wish mine enemy.
How came his practices to light?
Most strangely.
Oh, how?
The cardinal's letters to the Pope miscarried and came to the eye of the king, wherein was read how that the cardinal did entreat his holiness to stay the judgment of the divorce. For if it did take place, I do, quoth he, perceive my king is tangled in affection to a creature of the queen's, Lady Anne Boleyn.
Has the king this?
Believe it.
Will this work?
The king in this perceives him how he coasts and hedges his own way. But in this point all his tricks founder, and he brings his physic after his patient's death. The king already hath married the fair lady.
Would he had?
May you be happy in your wish, my lord, for I profess you have it.
Now, all my joy trace the conjunction.
My amen to it.
All men's.
There's order given for her coronation. Mary, this is yet but young, and may be left to some ears unrecounted. But my lords, she is a gallant creature, and complete in mind and feature. I persuade me, from her will fall some blessing to this land, which shall in it be memorized.
But will the king digest this letter of the cardinals? The Lord forbid!
Mary, amen!
Oh no, there be more wasps that buzz about his nose will make it this sting the sooner. Cardinal Campeius is stolen away to Rome, hath ta'en no leave, has left the cause of the king unhandled, and is posted as the agent of our cardinal to second all his plot. I do assure you, the king cried, ha, at this.
Now God incense him and let him cry, ha, louder.
But my lord, when returns Cranmer?
He has returned in his opinions, which have satisfied the king for his divorce, together with all famous colleges almost in Christendom. Shortly, I believe his second marriage shall be published, and her coronation. Catherine no more shall be called queen, but Princess Dowager and widow to Prince Arthur.
This same Cranmer's a worthy fellow, and hath taken much pain in the king's business.
He has, and we shall see him for it an archbishop.
So I hear.
'Tis so. The cardinal.
Observe, observe. He's moody.
The packet, Cromwell, gave it you the king.
To his own hand, in his bedchamber.
Looked he of the inside of the paper?
Presently he did unseal them, and the first he viewed, he did it with a serious mind. A heed was in his countenance. You he bade attend him here this morning.
Is he ready to come abroad?
I think by this he is.
Leave me a while. It shall be to the Duchess of Alençon, the French king's sister. He shall marry her. Anne Boleyn? No, I'll know Anne Boleyn's for him. There's more to it than fair visage. Boleyn? No, we'll know Boleyn's. Speedily I wish to hear from Rome, the Marchioness of Pembroke.
Discontented.
Maybe he hears the king does whet his anger to him.
Sharp enough, Lord, for thy justice.
The late queen's gentlewoman, a knight's daughter, to be her mistress's mistress, the queen's queen. This candle burns not clear. 'Tis I must snuff it, then out it goes. What though I know her virtuous and well-deserving, yet I know her for a spleeny Lutheran and not wholesome to our cause, that she should lie in the bosom of our hard-ruled king. Again, there is sprung up an heretic, an arch one, Cranmer. One hath crawled into the favor of the king, and is his oracle.
Vexed at something.
I would 'twere something that would fret the string, the master chord on's heart.
The king, the king!
What piles of wealth hath he accumulated to his own portion? And what expense by the hour seems to flow from him? How in the name of thrift does he rake this together? Now, my lords, saw you the cardinal?
My lord, we have stood here observing him. Some strange commotion is in his brain. He bites his lip and starts, stops on a sudden, looks upon the ground, then lays his finger on his temple straight, springs out into fast gait, then stops again, strikes his breast hard, and anon he casts his eye against the moon. In most strange postures we have seen him set himself.
It may well be there is a mutiny in his mind. This morning papers of state he sent me to peruse, as I required, and wot you what I found? There on my conscience put unwittingly, forsooth, an inventory, thus importing the several parcels of his plate, his treasure, rich stuffs, and ornaments of household, which I find at such proud rate that it outspeaks possession of a subject.
It's heaven's will some spirit put this paper in the packet to bless your eye withal.
If we did think his contemplation were above the earth and fixed on spiritual object, he should still dwell in his musings. But I am afraid his thinkings are below the moon, and not worth his serious considering.
Heaven forgive me. Ever God bless your highness.
Good, my lord. You are full of heavenly stuff, and bear the inventory of your best graces in your mind, the which you are now running o'er. You have scarce time to steal from spiritual leisure a brief span to keep your earthly audit. Sure, in that I deem you an ill husband, and am glad to have you therein, my companion.
Sir, for holy offices I have a time to think upon the part of business which I bear in the state, and nature does require her times of preservation, which perforce I, her frail son, amongst my brethren mortal, must give my tendance to.
You have said well.
And ever may your highness yoke together, as I will lend you cause, my doing well with my well saying.
'Tis well said again. and 'tis a kind of good deed to say well. And yet words are no deeds. My father loved you. He said he did, and with his deed did crown his word upon you. Since I had my office, I have kept you next my heart, have not alone employed you where high profits might come home, but pared my present havings to bestow my bounties upon you.
What should this mean?
Lord, increase this business.
Have I not made you the prime man of the state? I pray you, tell me if what I now pronounce you have found true, and if you may confess it, say withal if you are bound to us or no. What say you?
My sovereign, I confess your royal graces, showered on me daily, have been more than could my studied purposes require, which went beyond all men's endeavors. My endeavors have ever come too short of my desires, yet filed with my abilities. Mine own ends have been mine, so that evermore they pointed to the good of your most sacred person, and the profit of the state. For your great graces heaped upon me, poor undeserver, I can nothing render but allegiant thanks. My prayers to heaven for you, my loyalty, which ever has and ever shall be growing till death, that winter ends.
Fairly answered. A loyal and obedient subject is therein illustrated. The honor of it does pay the act of it, as, in the contrary, the foulness is the punishment. I presume that, as my hand has opened bounty to you, my heart dropped love, my power rained honor, more on you than any. So your hand and heart, your brain, and every function of your power should, notwithstanding that your bond of duty as twere in love's particular, be more to me your friend than any.
I do profess that for your highness's good I ever labored, more than mine own, that am, have, and will be, though all the world should crack their duty to you and throw it from their soul, though perils did abound as thick as thought could make 'em, and appear in forms more horrid. Yet my duty, as doth a rock against the chiding flood, should the approach of this wild river break, stand unshaken yours.
'Tis nobly spoken. Take notice, lords. He has a loyal breast, for you have seen him opened. Read o'er this, and after this, and then to breakfast with what appetite you have.
What should this mean? What sudden anger is this? How have I reaped it? He parted frowning from me, as if ruin leaped from his eyes. So looks the chafed lion upon the daring huntsman that hath galled him, then makes him nothing. I must read this paper. I fear the story of his anger. 'Tis so. This paper hath undone me. 'Tis the account of all that world of wealth I have drawn together for mine own ends, indeed to gain the popedom and fee my friends in Rome. Oh, negligence, fit for a fool to fall by! What cross devil made me put this main secret in the packet I sent the king? Is there no way to cure this? No new device to beat this from his brains? I know 'twill stir him strongly. Yet I know a way, if it take right, in spite of fortune, will bring me off again. What's this? To the Pope? The letter, as I live, with all the business I writ to his holiness. Nay then, farewell. I have touched the highest point of all my greatness, and from that full meridian of my glory I haste now to my setting. I shall fall like a bright exhalation in the evening, and no man see me more.
Hear the king's pleasure, Cardinal, who commands you to render up the great seal presently into our hands and to confine yourself to Asher House, my lord of Winchester's, till you hear further from his highness.
Stay. Where's your commission, lords? Words cannot carry authority so weighty.
Who dare cross him, bearing the king's will from his mouth expressly?
Till I find more than will or words to do it, I mean your malice. No, officious lords, I dare and must deny it. Now I feel of what coarse metal you are molded, envy. How eagerly you follow my disgraces, as if it fed you, and how sleek and wanton you appear in everything that may bring my ruin. Follow your envious courses, men of malice. You have Christian warrant for 'em, and no doubt in time will find their fit rewards. That seal you ask for with such a violence, the king, mine and your master, with his own hand gave me, bade me enjoy it with the place and honors during my life, and to confirm his goodness, tied it by letters patents. Now who'll take it?
The king that gave it.
It must be himself, then.
Thou art a proud traitor, priest.
Proud lord, thou liest. Within these 40 hours, Surrey durst better have burnt that tongue than said so.
Thy ambition, thou scarlet sin, robbed this bewailing land of noble Buckingham, my father-in-law, the heads of all thy brother cardinals, with thee and thy best parts bound together, waited not a hair of his. Plague of your policy! You sent me deputy for Ireland, far from his succor, from the king, from all that might have mercy on the fault thou gavest him, whilst your great goodness, out of holy pity, absolved him with an axe.
This and all else this talking lord can lay upon my credit, I answer is most false. The Duke by law found his deserts. How innocent I was from any private malice in his end, his noble jury and foul cause can witness. If I loved many words, Lord, I should tell you, you have as little honesty as honor. That in the way of loyalty and truth toward the king, my ever royal master, dare mate a sounder man than Surrey can be, and all that love his follies.
By my soul, your long coat, priest, protects you. Thou shouldst feel my sword in the lifeblood of the else. My lords, can you endure to hear this arrogance? And from this fellow? If we live thus tamely, to be thus jaded by a priest of scarlet, farewell, nobility. Let his grace go forward and dare us with his cap like larks.
All goodness is poison to thy stomach.
Yes, that goodness of gleaning all the land's wealth into one, into your own hands, Cardinal, by extortion. The goodness of your intercepted packets you writh to the Pope against the king. Your goodness, since you provoke me, shall be most notorious. My Lord Norfolk, as you are truly noble, as you respect the common good, the state of our despised nobility, our issues, whom, if he live, will scarce be a gentleman, produce the grand sum of his sin, the articles collected from his life. I'll startle you worse than the sacrificing bell when the brown wench lay kissing in your arms, Lord Cardinal.
How much methinks I could despise this man, but that I am bound in charity against it.
These articles, my lord, are in the king's hand, but thus much they are foul ones.
So much fairer and spotless shall mine innocence arise when the king knows my truth.
This cannot save you. I thank the memory, yet I remember some of these articles, and out they shall. Now, if you can blush and cry guilty, Cardinal, I'll show you a little honesty.
Speak on, sir. I dare your worst objections. If I blush, it is to see a nobleman want manners.
I had rather want those than my head. Have you first, without the king's assent or knowledge, you wrought to be a legate, which power you maintained the jurisdiction of all bishops?
Then that in all you writ to Rome or else to foreign princes, ego et ret meos, was still inscribed, in which you brought the king to be your servant.
Then, that without the knowledge either of king or council, when you went ambassador to the emperor, you made bold to carry into Flanders the Great Seal.
Item. You sent a large commission to Gregory de Casado to conclude, without the king's will or the state's allowance, a league between his highness and Ferrera.
That, out of mere ambition, you have caused your holy hat to be stamped on the king's coin.
Then that you have sent innumerable substance, by what means I got leave to your own conscience, to furnish Rome, and to prepare the ways you have for dignities to the mere undoing of all the kingdom. Many more there are which, since they are of you and odious, I will not taint my mouth with.
Oh, my lord, press not a falling man too far. 'Tis virtue, his faults lie open to the laws. Let them, not you, correct him. My heart weeps to see him so little of his great self.
I forgive him.
Lord Cardinal, the king's further pleasure is, because all those things that you have done of late, by your power legislative within this kingdom, fall into the compass of a premonitory, that therefore such a writ be sued against you to forfeit all your goods, lands, tenements, chattels, and whatsoe'er, and to be out of the king's protection. This is my charge.
And so we'll leave you to your meditations, how to live better. For your stubborn answer about the giving back the seal to us, the king shall know it, and no doubt shall thank you. So, fare you well, my little good Lord Cardinal.
So farewell to the little good you bear me. Farewell. A long farewell to all my greatness. This is the state of man. Today he puts forth the tender leaves of hopes. Tomorrow blossoms and bears his blushing honors thick upon him. The third day comes a frost, a killing frost. And when he thinks, good easy man, full surely his greatness is a ripening, nips his root, and then he falls, as I do. I have ventured, like little wanton boys that swim on bladders, this many summers in a sea of glory, but far beyond my depth. My high-blown pride at length broke under me and now has left me, weary and old with service, to the mercy of a rude stream that must forever hide me. Vain pomp and glory of this world, I hate you. I feel my heart, you opened. Oh, how wretched is that poor man that hangs on princes' favors. There is betwixt that smile we would aspire to, that sweet aspect of princes and their ruin, more pangs and fears than wars or women have. And when he falls like Lucifer, never to hope again. Why, how now, Cromwell?
I have no power to speak, sir.
What, amazed at my misfortunes? Can thy spirit wonder a great man should decline? Nay, you weep I am fallen indeed.
How does your grace?
Why, well, never so truly happy, my good Cromwell. I know myself now, and I feel within me a peace above all earthly dignities, a still and quiet conscience. The king has cured me. I humbly thank his grace. And from these shoulders, these ruined pillars, out of pity taken, a load would sink a navy. Too much honor. Oh, 'tis a burden, Cromwell. 'Tis a burden too heavy for a man that hopes for heaven.
I'm glad your grace has made right use of it.
I hope I have. I am able now, methinks, out of a fortitude of soul, I feel, to endure more miseries and greater far than my weak-hearted enemies dare offer. What news abroad?
The heaviest and the worst is your displeasure with the king.
God bless him.
The next is that Sir Thomas More is chosen Lord Chancellor in your place.
That's somewhat sudden, but he's a learned man. May he continue long in his highness' favor and do justice for truth's sake and his conscience, that his bones, when he has run his course and sleeps in blessings, may have a tomb of orphans' tears wept on him. What more?
That Cranmer is returned with welcome, installed Lord Archbishop of Canterbury.
That's news indeed.
Last, that the Lady Anne, whom the king hath in secrecy long married, this day was viewed in open as his queen, going to the chapel, and the voice is now only about her coronation.
There was the weight that pulled me down. Oh, Cromwell, the king has gone beyond me. All my glories in that one woman I have lost forever. No son shall ever usher forth mine honors, or gild again the noble troops that waited upon my smiles. Go, get thee from me, Cromwell. I am a poor fallen man, unworthy now to be thy lord and master. Seek the king. That sun, I pray, may never set. I have told him what and how true thou art. He will advance thee. Some little memory of me will stir him. I know his noble nature, not to let thy hopeful service perish too. Good Cromwell, neglect him not. Make use now, and provide for thine own future safety.
Oh, my lord, must I then leave you? Must I needs forego so good, so noble, and so true a master? Bear witness, all that have not hearts of iron, with what a sorrow Cromwell leaves his lord. The king shall have my service, but my prayers forever and forever shall be yours.
Cromwell, I did not think to shed a tear in all my miseries, but thou hast forced me out of thy honest truth to play the woman. Let's dry our eyes, and thus far hear me, Cromwell. And when I am forgotten, as I shall be, and sleep in dull cold marble, where no mention of me more must be heard of, say I taught thee. Say Wolsey, that once trod the ways of glory and sounded all the depths and shoals of honor, found thee a way out of his wrack to rise in, a sure and safe one, though thy master missed it. Mark but my fall, and that ruined me. Cromwell, I charge thee, fling away ambition. By that sin fell the angels. How can man then, the image of his maker, hope to win by it? Love thyself last. Cherish those hearts that hate thee. Corruption wins not more than honesty. Still in thy right hand carry gentle peace to silence envious tongues. Be just and fear not. Let all the ends thou aim'st at be thy countries, thy gods, and truths. Then, if thou fall'st, O Cromwell, thou fall'st a blessed martyr. Serve the king. And prithee, lead me in. There take an inventory of all I have to the last penny. 'Tis the king's. My robe and my integrity to heaven is all I dare now call my own. Oh, Cromwell, Cromwell, had I but served my God with half the zeal I served my king, he would not in mine age have left me naked to mine enemies.
Good sir, have patience.
So I have. Farewell the hopes of court. My hopes in heaven do dwell.
Act 4, Scene 1. A street in Westminster. Enter two gentlemen.
You're well met once again.
So are you.
You come here to take your stand here and behold the Lady Anne pass for her coronation.
'Tis all my business. At our last encounter, the Duke of Buckingham came from his trial.
'Tis very true, but that time offered sorrow, this general joy.
'Tis well. The citizens, I am sure, have shown at full their royal minds. As, let them have their rights, they are ever forward in celebration of this day which shows pageants and sights of honor.
Never greater. Nor, I'll assure you, better taken, sir.
May I be bold to ask what that contains, that paper in your hand?
Yes, 'tis the list of those that claim their offices this day by custom of the coronation. The Duke of Suffolk is there first and claims to be High Steward. Next, the Duke of Norfolk, he to be Earl Marshal. You may read the rest.
Oh, I thank you, sir. Had I not known these customs, I should have been beholding to your paper. But I beseech you, what's become of Catherine, the Princess Dowager? How goes her business?
That I can tell you. The Archbishop of Canterbury, accompanied with other learned and reverend fathers of his order, held a late court at Dunstable, 6 miles off from Ampthill, where the princess lay, to which she was often cited by them, but appeared not. And to be short, for no appearance in the king's late scruple by the main asset of all these learned men, she was divorced, and the late marriage made of none effect, since which she was removed to Kimilton, where she remains now sick.
Alas, good lady! The trumpet sounds. Stand close. The queen is coming. A royal train, believe me, these I know. Well, who's that bears the scepter?
Marcus Dorset and the Earl of Surrey with the rod.
Oh, a bold, brave gentleman. Oh, that should be the Duke of Suffolk.
Is the same High Steward.
And that my Lord of Norfolk?
Yes.
Heaven bless thee. Thou hast the sweetest face I ever looked on. Sir, as I have a soul, she is an angel. Our king has all the Indies in his arms, and more and richer when he strains that lady. I cannot blame his conscience.
They that bear the cloth of honor over her are 4 barons of the Cinque Ports.
Those men are happy, and so are all near her. I take it she that carries up the train is that old noble lady, Duchess of Norfolk.
It is, and all the rest are countesses.
Their coronets say so. These are stars indeed.
And sometimes falling ones.
No more of that.
God save you, sir. Where have you been broiling?
Among the crowd of the abbey, where a finger could not be wedged in more, I am stifled with the mere rankness of their joy.
You saw the ceremony?
That I did.
Ah,
How was it?
Well worth the seeing.
good sir, speak to us.
As well as I am able. The rich stream of lords and ladies, having brought the queen to a prepared place in the choir, fell off a distance from her, while her grace sat down to rest a while, some half an hour or so, in a rich chair of state, opposing freely the beauty of her person to the people. Believe me, sir, she is the goodliest woman that ever lay by man, which when the people had the full view of, such a noise arose, as the shrouds make at sea in a stiff tempest, as loud and to as many times. Hats and cloaks, doublets, I think, flew up, and had their faces been loose, this day they had been lost. Such joy I'd never seen before. Great-bellied women that had not half a week to go, like rams in the old time of war, which shake the press and make 'em reel before 'em. No man living could say, "This is my wife there." All were woven so strangely in one place.
But what followed?
At length her grace rose, and with modest paces came to the altar, where she kneeled and, saint-like, cast her fair eyes to heaven, and prayed devoutly, then rose again and bowed her to the people. When by the Archbishop of Canterbury, she had all the royal makings of a queen, as holy oil, Edward Confessor's crown, the rod and bird of peace, and all such emblems laid nobly on her, which performed the choir with all the choicest music of the kingdom, together sung Te Deum. So she parted, and with the same full state paced back again to York Place, where the feast is held.
Sir, you must no more call it York Place. That's past. For since the cardinal fell, that title's lost. 'Tis now the king's and called Whitehall.
I know it, but 'tis so lately altered that the old name is fresh about me.
What two reverend bishops were those that went on each side of the queen?
Stokely and Gardiner, the one of Winchester, newly preferred from the king's secretary, the other London.
He of Winchester has held no greater good lover of the archbishops, the virtuous Cranmer.
All the land knows that. However, yet there is no great breach. When it comes, Cranmer will find a friend will not shrink from him.
Who may that be, I pray you?
Thomas Cromwell, a man in much esteem with the king, and truly a worthy friend. The king has made him master of the jewel house, and one already of the Privy Council.
He will deserve more.
Oh, yes, without all doubt. Come, gentlemen, you shall go my way, which is to the court, and there you shall be my guests, something I can command. As I walk thither, I'll tell you more.
You may command us, sir.
Act 4, Scene 2, Huntingdonshire. Kimilton Castle. Enter Catherine Dowager, sick, led by Griffith and Patience, her woman. How does your grace?
Oh, Griffith, sick to death. My legs, like loaden branches, bow to the earth, willing to leave their burden. Reach a chair. So, now methinks I feel a little ease. Didst thou not tell me, Griffith, as thou lett'st me, that the great child of honor, Cardinal Wolsey, was dead?
Yes, madam, but I think your grace, out of the pain you suffered, gave no ear to it.
Prithee, good Griffith, tell me how he died. If well, he stepped before me happily for my example.
Well, the voice goes, madam, for after the stout Earl Northumberland arrested him at York and brought him forward, as a man sorely tainted, to his answer he fell sick suddenly and grew so ill he could not sit his mule.
Alas, poor man.
At last, with easy roads, he came to Leicester, lodged in the abbey, where the reverend abbot with all his convent honorably received him, to whom he gave these words: O Father Abbot, an old man broken with the storms of state is come to lay his weary bones among you. Give him a little earth for charity. So went to bed, where eagerly his sickness pursued him still, and 3 nights after this, about the hour of 8, which he himself foretold should be his last, full of repentance, continual meditations, tears, and sorrows, he gave his honors to the world again, his blessed part to heaven, slept in peace.
So may he rest, his faults lie gently on him. Yet thus far, Griffith, give me leave to speak him, and yet with charity. He was a man of an unbounded stomach, ever ranking himself with princes, one that by suggestion tied all the kingdom. Simony was fair play. His own opinion was his law. If the presence he would say untruths and be ever double, both in his words and meaning, he was never but where he meant to ruin pitiful. His promises were, as he was then, mighty, but his performance as he is now, nothing. Of his own body he was ill, and gave the clergy ill example.
Noble madam, men's evil manners live in brass. Their virtues we write in water. May it please your highness to hear me speak his good now?
Yes, good Griffith, I were malicious else.
This cardinal, though from an humble stock, undoubtedly was fashioned to much honor. From his cradle he was a scholar, and a ripe and good one, exceeding wise, fair-spoken, and persuading, lofty and sour to them that loved him not, but to those men that sought him, sweet as summer. And though he were unsatisfied in getting, which was a sin, yet in bestowing, madam, he was most princely. Ever witness for him those twins of learning that he raised in you, Ipswich and Oxford, one of which fell with him, unwilling to outlive the good that did it. The other, though unfinished, yet so famous, so excellent in art, and still so rising, that Christendom shall ever speak his virtue. His overthrow heaped happiness upon him, for then, and not till then, he felt himself, and found the blessedness of being little. And to add greater honors to his age than man could give him, he died fearing God.
After my death, I wish no other herald, no other speaker of my living actions to keep mine honor from corruption, but such an honest chronicler as Griffith. My most hated living thou hast made me with thy religious truth and modesty, now in his ashes honor. Peace be with him. Patience, be near me still, and set me lore. I have not long to trouble thee. Good Griffith, cause the musicians play me that sad note I name mine now, whilst I sit meditating on that celestial harmony I go to.
She is asleep. Good wench, let's sit down quiet for fear we wake her. Softly, gentle patience.
The vision. Enter, solemnly tripping one after another, 6 personages clad in white robes, wearing on their heads garlands of bays and golden vizards on their face, branches of bays or palms in their hand. They first congee onto her, then dance, and at certain changes, the first 2 hold a spare garland over her head, at which the other 4 make reverent curtsies. Then the 2 that held the garland deliver the same to the other next 2, who observe the same order in their changes, and holding the garland over her head, which done, they deliver the same garland to the last 2, who likewise observe the same order, at which, as it were by inspiration, she makes in her sleep signs of rejoicing, and holdeth up her hands to heaven, and so, in their dancing, vanish, carrying the garland with them.
Spirits of peace, where are you? Are you all gone? Then leave me here in wretchedness behind you.
Madam, we are here.
It is not you I call for. Saw you none enter since I slept?
None, madam.
No. Saw you not, even now, a blessed troop invite me to a banquet, whose bright faces cast 1,000 beams upon me like the sun? They promised me eternal happiness and brought me garlands, Griffith, which I feel I am not worthy yet to wear. I shall assuredly.
I am most joyful, madam. Such good dreams possess your fancy.
Bid the music leave. They are harsh and heavy to me.
Do you note how much her grace is altered all of a sudden? How long her face is drawn, how pale she looks, how of an earthly cold. Mark her eyes.
She's going, wench. Pray. Pray.
Oh, heaven comfort her.
And like your grace.
You are a saucy fellow. Deserve we no more reverence?
You are to blame, knowing she will not lose her wonted greatness to use so rude behavior. Go to, kneel.
I humbly do entreat your highness pardon. My haste made me unmannerly. There is staying a gentleman sent from the king to see you.
Admit him entrance, Griffith. But this fellow, let me ne'er see again. If my sight fail not, you should be Lord Ambassador from the Emperor, my royal nephew, and your name Capuchus.
Madam, the same, your servant.
Oh, my lord, the times and titles now are altered strangely with me since first you knew me, but I pray you, what is your pleasure with me?
Noble lady, mine own service to your grace. The next, the king's request that I would visit you, who grieves much for your weakness, and by me sends you his princely commendations, and heartily entreats you take good comfort.
Oh, my good lord, that comfort comes too late. 'Tis like a pardon after execution. That gentle physic given in time had cured me, but now I am past all comfort here but prayers. How does his highness?
Madam, in good health.
So may he ever do, and ever flourish, when I shall dwell with worms, and my poor name banish the kingdom. Patience, is that letter I caused you write yet sent away?
No, madam.
Sir, I most humbly pray you to deliver this to my lord the king.
Most willingly, madam.
In which I have commended to his goodness the model of our chaste loves, his young daughter. The dews of heaven fall thick in blessings on her, beseeching him to give her virtuous breeding. She is young and of a noble, modest nature. I hope she will deserve well, and a little to love her for her mother's sake that loved him. Heaven knows how dearly. My next poor petition is that his noble grace would have some pity upon the wretched women that so long have followed both my fortunes faithfully, of which there is not one I dare avow, and now I should not lie, but will deserve for virtue and beauty of the soul, for honesty and decent carriage, a right good husband, let him be a noble. And sure those men are happy that shall have him. The last is for my men, they are the poorest, but poverty could never draw them from me, that they may have their wages duly paid them, and something over to remember me by. If heaven had pleased to have given me longer life and able means, we had not parted thus. These are the whole contents, and good my lord, by that you love the dearest in this world, as you wish Christian peace to souls departed, stand these poor people's friend, and urge the king to do me this last right.
By heaven I will, or let me lose the fashion of a man.
I thank you, honest lord. Remember me in all humility unto his highness. Say his long trouble now is passing out of this world. Tell him in death I blessed him, for so I will. Mine eyes grow dim. Farewell, my lord. Griffith, farewell. Nay, Patience, you must not leave me yet. I must to bed. Call in more women. When I am dead, good wench, let me be used with honor. Strew me o'er with maiden flowers, that all the world may know I was a chaste wife to my grave. Embalm me, then lay me forth, although unqueened, yet like a queen and daughter to a king inter me. I can no more.
Act 5, Scene 1. London, a gallery in the palace. Enter Gardiner, the Bishop of Winchester, with his page, and Sir Thomas Lovell.
It's 1 o'clock, boy, is it not?
It hath struck.
These should be hours for necessities, not for delights. Time to repair our nature with comforting repose, not for us to waste these times. Good hour of the night, Sir Thomas. Whither so late?
Came you from the king, my lord?
I did, Sir Thomas, and left him at Primero with the Duke of Suffolk.
I must to him too. Before he go to bed, I'll take my leave.
Not yet, Sir Thomas Lovell. What's the matter? It seems you are in great haste, and if there be no great offense belongs to it, give your friend some touch of your late business. Affairs that walk, as they say spirits do at midnight, have a wilder nature than business that seeks dispatch by day.
My lord, I love you, and durst commend a secret to your ear, much weightier than this work. The queen's in labor, they say in great extremity, and feared she'll with the labor end.
The fruit she goes with, I pray for, heartily it may find good time and live. But for the stalk, Sir Thomas, I wish it grubbed up now.
Methinks I could cry the amen, and yet my conscience says she's a good creature and sweet lady, does deserve our better wishes.
But sir, hear me, Sir Thomas. You are a gentleman of my own way. I know you wise, religious, and let me tell you, it will ne'er be well, 'twill not, Sir Thomas Lowe. Take it of me till Cranmer, Cromwell, her 2 hands, and she sleep in their graves.
Now, sir, you speak of 2, the most remarked in the kingdom. As for Cromwell, besides that of the Jewel House, is made Master of the Rolls and the King's Secretary. Further, sir, stands in the gap and trade of more preferments with which the time will load him. The Archbishop is the King's hand and tongue, and who dare speak one syllable against him?
Yes, Sir Thomas, there are that dare, and myself have ventured to speak my mind of him. And indeed, this day, sir, I may tell it you, I think I have incensed the lords of the council that he is, for so I know he is, they know he is, a most arch heretic, a pestilence that does infect the land, with which they, moved, have broken with the king, who hath so far given ear to our complaint of his great grace and princely care, foreseeing those fell mischiefs, our reasons laid before him, hath commanded tomorrow morning to the council board he be convicted. He's a rank weed, Sir Thomas, and we must root him out. From your affairs I hinder you too long. Good night, Sir Thomas.
Many good nights, my lord. I rest your servant.
Charles, I will play no more tonight. My mind's not on't. You are too hard for me.
Sir, I did never win of you before.
But little Charles, nor shall not of my fancies on my play. Now, Lovell, from the Queen, what is the news?
I could not personally deliver to her what you commanded me, but by her woman I sent your message, who returned her thanks in the greatest humbleness, and desired your highness most heartily to pray for her.
What sayest thou, huh? To pray for her? What, is she crying out?
So said her woman, and that her sufferance made almost each pang a death.
Alas, good lady.
God safely quit her of her burden, and with great travail to the gladding of your highness with an air.
'Tis midnight, Charles. Prithee, to bed, and in thy prayers remember the estate of my poor queen. Leave me alone, for I must think of that which company would not be friendly to.
I wish your highness a quiet night, and my good mistress will remember in my prayers.
Charles, good night. Well, sir, what follows?
Sir, I have brought my lord the Archbishop as you commanded me.
Ha! Canterbury!
Aye, my good lord.
'Tis true. Where is he, Denny?
He attends your highness's pleasure.
Bring him to us.
This is about that which the bishop spake. I am happily.
Avoid the gallery. Ha! I have said, begone! What?
Oh, I am fearful. Wherefore frowns he thus? 'Tis his aspect of terror, all's not well.
How now, my lord? You do desire to know wherefore I sent for you.
It is my duty to attend your highness' pleasure.
Pray your eyes, my good and gracious lord of Canterbury. Come, you and I must walk a turn together. I have news to tell you. Come, give me your hand. My good lord, I grieve at what I speak, and am right sorry to repeat what follows. I have, and most unwillingly, of late heard many grievous, I do say, my lord, grievous complaints of you, which, being considered, have moved us and our council that you shall this morning come before us, where I know you cannot with such freedom purge yourself, but that, till further trial in those charges which will require your answer, you must take your patience to you, and be well contented to make your house our tower. You a brother of us, it fits we thus proceed, or else no witness would come against you.
I humbly thank your highness, and am right glad to catch this good occasion most throughly to be winnowed where my chaff and cord shall fly asunder. For I know there's none stands under more calumnious tongues than I myself, poor man.
Stand up, good Canterbury! Thy truth and thy integrity is rooted in us, thy friend. Give me thy hand, stand up. Prithee, let's walk. Now, by my halidom, what manner of man are you? My lord, I looked you would have given me your petition that I should obtain some pains to bring together yourself and your accusers, and to have heard you without endurance further.
Most dread liege, the good I stand on is my truth and honesty. If they shall fail, I with mine enemies will triumph over my person, which I weigh not, being of those virtues vacant. I fear nothing what can be said against me.
Know you not how your state stands in the world, with the whole world? Your enemies are many and not small. Their practices must bear the same proportion, and not ever the justice and the truth of the question carries the due of the verdict with it. At what ease might corrupt minds procure knaves as corrupt to swear against you? Such things have been done. You are potently opposed, and with of a malice of as great size. We knew of better luck, I mean in perjured witness, than your master, whose minister you are, whiles here he lived upon this naughty earth. Go to! You take a precipice for no leap of danger, and woo your own destruction.
God and your majesty, protect mine innocence, or I fall into the trap that's laid for me.
Be of good cheer. They shall no more prevail than we give way to. Keep comfort to you, and this morning see you do appear before them. If they shall chance, in charging you with matters, to commit you, the best persuasions of the contrary fail not to use, and with what vehemency the occasion shall instruct you. If entreaties will render you no remedy, this ring deliver them, and your appeal to us there make before them. Look, the good man weeps. He's honest on mine honour. God's blessed mother, I swear he is true-hearted and a soul none better in my kingdom. Get you gone, and do as I have bid you. He has strangled his language in his tears.
come back. The tidings I bring will make my boldness manners now good angels fly o'er the royal head and shade thy person under their blessed wings.
Now by the looks I guess thy message. Is the queen delivered? Say, aye, and of a boy.
Aye, my liege, and of a lovely boy. The God of heaven, both now and ever bless her. 'Tis a girl promises boys hereafter. Sir, your queen desires your visitation, and to be acquainted with this stranger. 'Tis as like you as cherry is to cherry.
Lovell,
Sir,
give her 100 marks. All to the queen.
100 marks? By this light I'll have more. An ordinary groom is for such payment. I will have more, or scold it out of him. Said I for this the girl was like to him? I'll have more or else and say it. And now, while 'tis hot, I'll put it to the issue.
Act 5, Scene 2. Outside the King's Council Chamber. Enter Cranmer, Archbishop of Canterbury. Hope I'm not too late. And yet the gentleman that was sent to me from the council prayed me to make great haste. That... All fast? What means this? Oh! Who waits there? Sure you know me.
yes, my lord, but yet I cannot help you.
Why?
Your grace must wait till you be called for.
So,
This is a piece of malice. I'm glad I came this way so happily. The king shall understand it presently.
'tis Butts, the king's physician. As he passed along, how earnestly he cast his eyes upon me. Pray heaven he sound not my disgrace, for certain this is a purpose laid by some that hate me. God turn their hearts. I never sought their malice to quench mine honor. They would shame to make me wait else at door and fellow counselor, mongst boys and grooms and lackeys. Their pleasures must be fulfilled. I intend with patience.
I'll show your grace the strangest sight.
What's that, Butts?
I think your highness saw this many a day.
Body o' me, where is it?
There, my lord. The high promotion of his grace of Canterbury, who holds estate at door, mongst pursuivants, pages, and footboys.
Ha! 'Tis he indeed. Is this the honor they do one another? 'Tis well there's one above 'em yet. I had thought they'd parted so much honesty among 'em, at least good manners, as not thus to suffer a man of his place and so near our favour to dance attendance on their lordships' pleasures, and at the door too, like a post with packets. By Holy Mary, Butts, there's knavery. Let 'em alone, and draw the curtain close. We shall hear more anon.
Speak to the business, Master Secretary. Why are we met in council?
Please, your honors, the chief concerns his grace of Canterbury.
Has he knowledge of it?
Yes.
Waits there.
Without my noble lords,
Yes.
my lord archbishop, and has done half an hour to know your pleasures.
Let him come in.
Your grace may enter now.
My good Lord Archbishop, I'm very sorry to sit here at this present and behold that chair stand empty. But we are all men, in our own natures frail and capable. Of our flesh, few are angels, out of which frailty and want of wisdom you, that best should teach us, have misdemeaned yourself, and not a little, toward the king first, then his laws, in filling the whole realm by your teaching and your chaplains. For so we are informed with new opinions, diverse and dangerous, which are heresies, and not reformed may prove pernicious.
Which Reformation must be subtle too, my noble lords, for those that tame wild horses pace 'em not in their hands to make 'em gentle, but stop their mouths with stubborn bits and spur 'em till they obey the manage. If we suffer out of our easiness and childish pity to one man's honor this contagious sickness, farewell all physic. And what follows then? Commotions, uproars, with a general taint of the whole state. As of late days our labors the upper Germany can dearly witness, yet freshly pitied in our memories.
My good lords, hitherto, in all the progress both of my life and office, I have labored, and with no little study, that my teaching and the strong course of my authority might go one way and safely, and the end was ever to do well. Nor is there living, I speak it with a single heart, my lords, a man that more detests, more stirs against both in his private conscience and his place, defacers of the public peace than I do. Pray heaven the king may never find a heart with less allegiance in it. Men that make envy and crooked malice nourishment dare bite the best. I do beseech your lordships that in this case of justice my accusers, be what they will, may stand forth face to face and freely urge against me.
Nay, my good lord, that cannot be. You are a counselor, and by that virtue no man dare accuse you.
My lord, because we have business of more moment, we will be short with you. 'Tis your highness' pleasure and our consent for a better trial of you, from hence you be committed to the Tower, where, being but a private man again, you shall know many dare accuse you boldly, more than I fear. You are provided for.
My good lord of Winchester, I thank you. You're always my good friend. If your will pass, I shall both find your lordship judge and juror. You are so merciful. I see your end. 'Tis my undoing. Love and meekness, Lord, become a churchman better than ambition. Win straying souls with modesty again, cast none away. That I shall clear myself, lay all the weight you can upon my patience, I make as little doubt as you do conscience in doing daily wrongs. I could say more, but reverence to your calling makes me modest.
My lord, you are a sectary. That's the plain truth. Your painted gloss discovers to men that understand you words and weakness.
My lord of Winchester, you're a little by your good favor too sharp. Men so noble, however faulty, yet should find respect for what they have been. 'Tis a cruelty to load a falling man.
Good, Master Secretary. I cry honor, mercy. You may worst think all of this table say so.
Why, my lord?
I do not know you for a favorer of this new sect. You are not sound.
Not sound.
Not sound, I say.
Would you were half so honest. Men's prayers would seek you, not their fears.
I shall remember this bold language.
Do remember your bold life, too.
This is too much. Forbear for shame, my lords.
I have done.
And I.
Then thus for you, my lord, it stands agreed. I take it by all voices that forthwith you be conveyed to the Tower a prisoner, there to remain till the king's further pleasure be known unto us. Are you all agreed, lords?
We are.
Is there no other way of mercy, but I must needs to the Tower, my lords?
What other would you expect? You are strangely troublesome. Let some of the guard be ready there.
For me? Must I go like a traitor hither?
Receive him, and see him safe in the tower.
Stay, good my lords. I have a little yet to say. Look. There, my lords. By virtue of that ring, I take my cause out of the grips of cruel men and give it to a most noble judge, the king my master.
This is the king's ring.
This is no counterfeit.
'Tis the right ring, by heaven. I told you all when we first put this dangerous stone a-rolling, 'twould fall upon ourselves.
Do you think, my lords, the king will suffer but the little finger of this man to be vexed?
'Tis now too certain. How much more is his life in value with him? Would I were fairly out on't.
My mind gave me in seeking tales and informations against this man, whose honesty the devil and his disciplines only envy at. You blew the fire that burns you. Now, have at you.
Dread sovereign, how much we are bound to heaven in daily thanks that gave us such a prince, not only good and wise, but most religious, one that in all obedience makes the church the chief aim of his honor, and to strengthen that holy duty out of respect his royal self in judgment comes to hear the cause betwixt her and this great offender.
You are ever good at sudden commendations, Bishop of Winchester. But no, I come not to hear such flattery now, and in my presence they are too thin and base to hide offences. To me you cannot reach. You play the spaniel, and think with wagging of your tongue to win me. But whatsoe'er thou takest me for, I'm sure thou hast a cruel nature and a bloody... Good man, sit down. Now let me see the proudest, he that dares most but wag his finger at thee. By all that's holy, he had better starve than but once think this place becomes thee not.
May it please your grace.
No, sir, it does not please me. I had thought I had had men of some understanding and wisdom of my counsel, but I find none. Was it discretion, lords, to let this man, this good man, few of you deserve that title, this honest man, wait like a lousy footboy at chamber door? And one as great as you are. Why, what a shame was this! Did my commission bid you so far forget yourselves? I gave you power as he was a counselor to try him, not as a groom. Well, there's some of you I see more out of malice than integrity would try him to the utmost, had you mean, which you shall never have while I live.
Thus far, my dread sovereign, may it like your grace to let my tongue excuse all. What was purposed concerning his imprisonment was rather, if there be faith in men, meant for his trial and fair purgation to the world than malice, I'm sure, in me.
Well, my lords, respect him. Take him and use him well. He's worthy of it. I will say this much for him. If a prince may be beholding to a subject, I am for his love and service, so to him. Make me no more ado, but all embrace him. Be friends for shame, my lords. My lord of Canterbury, I have a suit which you must not deny me. That is, a fair young maid that yet wants baptism. You must be godfather and answer for her.
The greatest monarch now alive may glory in such an honor. How may I deserve it, that am a poor and humble subject to you?
Come, my lord, you'd spare your spoons. You shall have two noble partners with you, the old Duchess of Norfolk and the Lady Marquess Dorset. Will these please you? Once more, my lord of Winchester, I charge you, embrace and love this man.
With a true heart and brother love, I do it.
And let heaven witness how dear I hold this confirmation.
Good man, those joyful tears show thy true heart. The common voice I see is verified of thee, which says thus, Do my Lord of Canterbury a shrewd turn, and he's your friend forever. Come, lords, we trifle time away. I long to have this young one made a Christian. As I have made you one lords, one remain. So I grow stronger, you more honor gain.
Act 5, Scene 3. The Palace Yard. Enter a porter and his man.
You leave your nose on, you rascals! Do you take the court for parish guardian? You rude slaves, leave your gaping!
Good Master Porter, I belong to the larder.
Oh, onto the gallows and be hanged, you rogue! Is this a place to roar in? Fetch me a dozen crabtree staves and strong ones. These are but switches to 'em. I'll scratch your heads! You must be seeing christenings. Do you look for ale and cakes here, you rude rascals?
Pray, sir, be patient. 'Tis much impossible, unless we sweep 'em from the door with cannons, to scatter 'em, as 'tis make 'em sleep. On May Day morning, which shall never be, we may as well push against pools as to stir 'em.
How got they in and be hanged?
Alas, I know not. How gets the tiding? As much as one stone cudgel 4 foot. You see the poor remainder could distribute, made no spare, sir.
You did nothing, sir.
Not Samson, not Sir Guy, nor Colbrand, to mow 'em down before me. But if I spared any that have a head to hit, either young nor old, he nor she, cuckold nor cuckle maker, let me ne'er hope to see 'em chime again, that I would not for a cow, God save her.
Do you hear, Master Porter?
I shall be with you presently, good Master Puppy. Keep the door closed, sirrah.
What would you have me do?
What should you do but knock 'em down by the dozens? Is there small fields to muster in, or have we some strange Indian with the great tool to come to court? The women so besiege us. Bless me, what a fry of fornication is that door! On my Christian conscience, this one christening will beget 1,000. Here will be the father, godfather, and all together.
The spoons will be bigger, sir. There's a fellow somewhat near the door. He should be a brazier by his face. For, oh my conscience, 20 of the dog's days now reign in his nose. All that stand about him are under the line. They need no other penance. That fire drake did hit me 3 times on the head. 3 times was his nose discharged against me. Here he stands like a mortar piece to blow us. There was a haberdasher's wife of small wit near him that railed me upon till a pint porringer fell off her head for such a kindling, for such a combustion in the state. I missed the meteor, one that hit the woman, who cried out clubs, when I might see from some 40 truncheon to draw her succour, which were the eye of the strand where she was quartered. They fell on. I made good my place. At length they come the broomstaff to me, defied 'em still, when suddenly a file of boys behind 'em, loose shot, delivered like a shower of pimples that was to feign the drama in honour and led 'em with the work. The devil was amongst 'em, I think, surely.
These are the youths that thunder at the playhouse and fight for bitten apples. That no audience but the tribulation of Tower Hill or the lens of Limehouse their dear brothers are able to endure. I've some of them in limbo patrum, and there they are like to dance these 3 days. Besides the running banquet of 2 beadles that is to come.
Mercy o' me, what a multitude are here! They grow still, too. From all parts they are coming, as if we kept a fair here. Where are these porters, these lazy knaves? Ah, you've made a fine hand, fellows. There's a trim rabble let in. Are all these your faithful friends of the suburbs? We shall have great store of room, no doubt, left for the ladies when they pass back from the christening.
It please your honour, we are but men, and what so many may do, not being torn to pieces, we have done. An army cannot rule them.
As I live, if the king blame me for't, I'll lay you all by the heels, and suddenly, and on your heads clap round fines for neglect. You're lazy knaves, and here you lie baiting of bombards when you should do service. Hark! The trumpets sound. They're coming already from the christening. Go break among the press, and find a way out to let the troop pass fairly, or I'll find a Marshalsea shall hold you play these 2 months.
Make way for the princess!
You there, great fellow, stand up close, or I'll make your head ache.
You, in the camlet, get up on the rail, or pack you o'er the pales else.
Act 5, Scene 4. A great hall in the palace. Enter Garter and Cranmer with a procession of nobles, followed by the infant Princess Elizabeth, borne by her godmothers.
Heaven, from thy endless goodness, send prosperous life, long and ever happy, to the high and mighty Princess of England, Elizabeth.
And to your royal grace and the good queen, my noble partners and myself thus pray all comfort, joy in this most gracious lady heaven e'er laid up to make parents happy, may hourly fall upon you.
Thank you, good Lord Archbishop. What is her name?
Elizabeth.
Stand up, Lord. With this kiss take my blessing. God protect thee, into whose hand I give thee life.
Amen.
My noble gossips, you have been too prodigal. I thank you heartily. So shall this lady when she has so much English.
Let me speak, sir, for heaven now bids me, and the words I utter let none think flattery, for they'll find 'em truth. This royal infant, heaven still move about her, though in her cradle, yet now promises upon this land 1,000,000 blessings, which time shall bring to ripeness. She shall be, but few now living can behold that goodness, a pattern to all princes living with her, and all that shall succeed. Saba was never more covetous of wisdom, and the fair virtue that this pure soul shall be. All princely graces that mold up such a mighty piece as this, with all the virtues that attend the good, shall still be doubled on her. Truth shall nurse her. Holy and heavenly thoughts still counsel her. She shall be loved and feared. Her own shall bless her. Her foes shake like a field of beaten corn and hang their heads with sorrow. Good grows with her. In her days every man shall eat in safety under his own vine what he plants, and sing the merry songs of peace to all his neighbors. God shall be truly known, and those about her from her shall read the perfect ways of honor. By those claim their greatness, not by blood. Nor shall this peace sleep with her, but as when the bird of wonder dies, the maiden phoenix her ashes new create another heir, as great in admiration as herself, so shall she leave her blessedness to one where heaven shall call her from this cloud of darkness. From the sacred ashes of her honor shall star-like rise in as great in a fame as she was, and so stand fixed. Peace, plenty, love, truth, terror, that were the servants to this chosen infant, shall then be his, and like a vine grow to him wherever the bright sun of heaven shall shine. His honor and the greatness of his name shall be, and make new nations. He shall flourish, and like a mountain cedar reach his branches to all the plains about him. Our children's children shall see this, and bless heaven.
Thou speakest wonders.
She shall be to the happiness of England an aged princess. Many days shall see here, and yet no day without a deed to crown it. Would I had known no more. She must die. She must. The saints must have her. Yet a virgin, a most unspotted lily shall she pass to the ground, and all the world shall mourn her.
O Lord Archbishop, thou hast made me now a man. Never before this happy child did I get anything. This oracle of comfort has so pleased me that when I am in heaven I shall desire to see what this child does and praise my Maker. I thank you all. To you, my good Lord Mayor, and you, good brethren, I am much beholding. I have received much honor by your presence. You shall find me thankful. Lead the way, lords. You must all see the queen, and she must thank you, or she will be sick else. This day, no man think has business at his house, for all shall stay. This little one shall make it holiday. "'Tis 10 to 1 this play can ever please all that are here. Some come to take their ease and sleep an act or two, but those, we fear, we've frighted with our trumpets. So 'tis clear they'll say 'tis not. Others, to hear the city abused extremely and to cry, 'That's witty,' which we have not done neither. That, I fear, all the expected good we're like to hear for this play at this time is only in the merciful construction of good women. For such a one we showed 'em. If they smile and say 'twill do, I know within a while all the best men are ours. For 'tis ill hap if they hold when their ladies bid 'em clap.
We hope you enjoyed our reading of Henry VIII. Let's call back our players. Jason Rennie, Christopher Carbo, Taylor Marr, Megan Wells, Ron Dorn, Chris Klein, Sasha Venn, Caitlin McCormick, Ben Birmingham, Emily Redmond Hall, Laura Kovalt, Mark Tracy, Julie Measley Grossman, and I'm Mary Carrick. Join us next time for Edward III.